Imagine you are 22 years old, trapped inside the most deadly battlefield of World War II. The city around you is burning, and by the end of this day, you will be dead. Imagine you were born in the year 1920 in the quiet German city of Dresden, a beautiful city where the Elbe River flows slowly beneath ancient stone bridges. In the mornings the city wakes gently. Sunlight touches the rooftops, church bells echo through the streets, bakers open their shops, and the smell of fresh bread fills the cold morning air. People greet each other as they pass. Children run across cobblestone streets chasing each other. At that moment, the world feels safe, predictable, permanent. You grow up believing life will always be like this. Simple, peaceful, normal. Your father works as a carpenter. His workshop sits behind the house. You often sit quietly in the corner watching him work. The smell of fresh wood fills the room. Dust floats slowly in the sunlight coming through the window. You hear the sound of the saw cutting through timber, slow, steady, precise. Sometimes your father stops working and looks at you. He smiles and says something strange, something you do not understand at the time. Wood is like people. If it breaks once, it never returns the same. Years pass, you grow older, stronger. You begin to think about the future. Maybe you will open your own workshop one day. Maybe you will build a house near the river. Maybe you will marry and raise children in the same quiet streets where you grew up. But in the late 1930s, something begins to change. At first it is small, just voices on the radio talking about war, distant places, strange names, Poland, France, Russia. You have never seen these places. They feel far away, unreal. But slowly the tone of the voices changes. People in cafes speak more quietly. Conversations stop when someone new enters the room. The atmosphere grows heavier, and then the young men begin disappearing. One by one they leave town wearing uniforms. Some wave proudly, some smile nervously, but everyone can see the fear hiding behind their eyes. Some of them return months later. Many of them do not return at all. Then, one cold morning in 1941, a letter arrives. Your name printed clearly on the envelope. The paper feels thin in your hands, but it weighs more than anything you have ever held, because you already know what it says. Military service. Report immediately. You are now a soldier. There is no discussion, no negotiation, no escape, only obedience. Days later, you stand at the train station. Snow falls quietly around the platform. The locomotive breathes thick clouds of steam into the freezing air. Your mother hugs you tightly, longer than she ever has before. Your father says very little. He simply places his rough hand on your shoulder and nods. The train whistle suddenly screams. Doors slam shut along the platform. The train begins to move, slowly at first, then faster. Through the window, you watch your city drift away. The rooftops, the church towers, the streets where you played as a child. Everything that once felt permanent becomes smaller until it disappears completely. Days pass inside the train. The air grows colder. The conversations grow quieter. The further east you travel, the heavier the silence becomes. At night, the train rattles endlessly along the rails. Tuck, 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 like a clock, counting down towards something waiting for you in the distance. Then, one morning, the train suddenly stops. The metal door slides open. Cold air hits your face like a knife. You step down into the snow, and that is when you smell it. Smoke, burning metal, ash, war. In the distance, a dark cloud rises into the sky. Someone whispers a name. Stalingrad. At first it looks like any other city on the horizon, but as the trucks carry you closer, you begin to understand something terrible. The buildings are broken open, roofs have collapsed, entire streets are buried under mountains of rubble. Black smoke crawls into the sky like a living thing. The city looks less like a place where people live, and more like the corpse of something that died violently. And yet, the most terrifying thing about Stalingrad is not the destruction, it is the silence, because deep down you know something. The city is not empty. Somewhere in those ruins, someone is watching you, waiting, and soon they will begin hunting. Your unit moves slowly toward the ruined city. Military trucks grind through the snow and broken roads. The wind cuts through your coat like a blade. No one speaks. Everyone is staring at the same thing, the city. The closer you get, the worse it looks. Entire neighborhoods have been crushed into dust. Concrete skeletons of buildings stand like broken teeth against the sky. Black smoke rises everywhere. The air smells like burnt metal, oil, and something else. Something heavier. Something you recognize, but wish you didn't. Death. The trucks stop at the edge of the city. The officer jumps down and shouts the order. Move out! Boots hit the frozen ground. Metal clicks as rifles are checked. You step forward with the others. Your breath appears in front of you in small white clouds. The street ahead is buried under rubble and shattered brick. Windows stare down at you like empty eyes. Broken glass crunches beneath your boots. The sound echoes strangely in the silence. Too loud, much too loud. Your unit moves deeper into the ruins. Every soldier scanning windows, doorways, roofs. Anywhere a rifle could be hiding. The city feels wrong, like it is holding its breath, waiting. Then suddenly, the man walking beside you stops. For a moment he stands perfectly still. Then his body collapses into the snow. No scream, no warning. Just a single sharp crack of a rifle. A sniper. Your heart slams inside your chest. Someone shouts, "Sniper, take cover!" The street explodes into chaos. Soldiers dive behind walls. Rifles fire blindly toward dark windows. Dust and brick fragments explode from the buildings. You run without thinking. Your boots slip across broken stone. Another shot cracks through the air. Something slams into the wall inches from your head. You dive through a shattered doorway. Inside the building, it is almost completely dark. Dust floats through the air like grey fog. The smell of smoke and old fire fills your lungs. Several soldiers press themselves against the walls, breathing hard. No one speaks. Everyone is listening, trying to hear something beyond the pounding of their own hearts. Then you hear it. A sound above you, a slow creak, wood shifting, footsteps, not yours, not one of your men. Someone is upstairs. The entire room freezes. Your fingers tighten around your rifle. The staircase ahead disappears into shadow. Another step. Slow, careful. Whoever is up there knows you are here. The steps grow closer, closer. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your pulse pounds in your ears. Then suddenly, a shape appears at the top of the stairs. A Soviet soldier, young, just like you. His face covered in dust and sweat. His eyes wide with the same fear you feel. For a fraction of a second, neither of you moves. Two strangers standing in the ruins of a dying city. Both of you understand the same truth. Only one of you is walking out alive. The rifles fire almost at the same moment. The gunshots explode inside the building like thunder. The Soviet soldier jerks backward and crashes onto the stairs. His helmet rolls across the floor. The echo of the gunshots fades slowly. Your ears ring. Your hands shake. Smoke drifts through the dim light. You stare at the body on the staircase, your first kill, and suddenly the war feels different, more real, more terrifying. Outside, the battle grows louder. Machine guns hammer somewhere down the street. Explosions shake the ground. Your officer signals the unit to move again. You step back into the street. Snow begins falling through the smoke-filled sky, soft white flakes drifting between the ruined buildings. For a moment, the city almost looks peaceful. But the illusion lasts only seconds, because somewhere in the distance, another explosion rips through the air. And the city of Stalingrad reminds you once again that it is very much alive, and it is hungry. Hungry for more men. Night falls over Stalingrad, and the city changes. During the day, the ruins are terrifying, but at night, they become something far worse. The streets disappear into darkness. Broken buildings turn into giant black shadows. The wind moves slowly through shattered windows and empty staircases. It sounds almost like whispering, like the city itself is speaking. Your unit takes shelter inside another ruined building. Someone manages to light a small fire using broken wood from a collapsed door. The flame flickers weakly in the cold air. For a moment, the orange light reveals the faces around you. Dirty, exhausted, hungry. No one looks like the same men who arrived here. The war is already changing everyone. No one talks much anymore. The jokes disappeared days ago. So did the laughter. Now, the only sounds inside the building are quiet breathing and the wind outside. Somewhere in the distance, a machine gun fires a short burst, then silence again. You try to sleep, but Stalingrad will not let you. The cold creeps through your uniform, your fingers feel numb, your feet ache inside your boots. Every few minutes you wake up again, because every sound feels like danger. A loose metal sheet banging in the wind, rubble shifting somewhere in the darkness, distant footsteps that might not even exist. Then suddenly, a flare rises into the night sky. The entire city lights up for a few seconds. Bright white light floods the ruins, every broken wall, every shadow, every movement, and for that brief moment, you see something that freezes your blood. Figures moving across the rubble, dozens of them, Soviet soldiers, crawling, running, positioning themselves in the darkness. Then the flare dies, the light disappears, and the city falls back into blackness. But now you know the truth. You are surrounded. Morning does not come quietly, it arrives with a sound, a long rising whistle tearing through the sky. Every soldier recognizes it instantly. Artillery. Then the first shell hits. The explosion shakes the entire building. Dust pours from the ceiling. Another shell lands somewhere down the street. Then another. The ground trembles like an earthquake. Walls crack. Windows explode. The bombardment grows louder and louder. Stalingrad is shaking apart once again. You press yourself against the floor as debris rains down. The air fills with dust and broken brick. Your ears ring from the shock waves. Somewhere nearby, a building collapses with a deep, thunderous crash. The bombardment continues for what feels like forever. Endless explosions tearing through the city. Then suddenly, it stops. Slowly, the dust begins to settle. You lift your head. The street outside has changed again. Buildings that were standing minutes ago are now gone, reduced to piles of rubble and twisted metal. Smoke crawls into the grey sky. You look around for the other soldiers. Some are still moving, others are not. In Stalingrad, life and death are separated by seconds. Days begin to blur together. The cold becomes unbearable. Food becomes almost impossible to find. Your rations shrink every day. Small pieces of hard bread, sometimes nothing at all. Men grow weaker, thinner, quieter. The worst part is the waiting. Every hour feels like something terrible is about to happen. Every shadow feels alive, and somewhere deep inside you, a terrible realization begins to grow. Stalingrad is not just a battlefield, it is a machine that slowly grinds men into dust, and you are trapped inside it. Morning comes again to the ruins of Stalingrad, but the city no longer feels like a place for the living. The streets are buried under fresh layers of snow and broken concrete. Smoke still rises from the craters left by artillery shells. The air is thick with the smell of burnt metal, oil, and death. You and the remaining soldiers of your unit stand quietly inside the remains of a shattered building. No one needs to say it. Everyone knows the truth. There are far fewer of you now. Your officer receives new orders. Advance. Another street. Another group of ruins. Another fight that none of you truly believe you will survive. You stand slowly and check your rifle. Your hands tremble slightly from exhaustion and cold. Your stomach has been empty for days, but the war does not care. Orders are orders. Your unit moves forward into the street. Snow falls slowly through the grey sky. The silence feels heavy again. Too heavy. Every broken window feels like a rifle barrel waiting to fire. Every pile of rubble looks like it could be hiding a soldier. Your boots crunch softly in the snow. Each step echoes through the empty street. Then the first gunshot cracks through the air. Machine guns roar from somewhere ahead. Bullets smash into the walls around you. Brick explodes into dust. Men shout. Your unit scatters for cover. You run toward a collapsed wall, your heart pounding violently in your chest. Another burst of gunfire tears through the street. The sound is deafening. Explosions follow. Grenades detonate somewhere behind you. The entire battlefield dissolves into chaos. Smoke, fire, screaming, gunfire. The city of Stalingrad is alive again, and it is furious. You move forward with the others, running from cover to cover. Every second feels like the last. Then suddenly, something hits you hard. A violent impact in your chest. Your rifle slips from your hands. Your legs collapse beneath you. You fall into the snow. For a moment, you do not understand what happened. The sky above you spins slowly. Gunfire continues around you, but the sounds feel distant now, muted, like they belong to another world. You try to move. Your body refuses. Your chest burns. Warm blood spreads across the snow beneath you. Your breath becomes shallow, heavy. Pain fades slowly into numbness. The battle continues around you, but you're no longer part of it. You turn your head slightly. Above you, the sky is pale and empty. Smoke drifts slowly between the broken buildings. Snowflakes fall gently onto your face, cold, quiet, soft. And suddenly, your mind drifts somewhere else. Far away from Stalingrad, back to Dresden. You see the river again, the sunlight reflecting across the water, your father working in the small wooden workshop, the smell of fresh timber in the air, dust floating slowly through golden sunlight. For a moment, it almost feels real, like none of this ever happened, like you never left, like the war was only a bad dream. Your breathing grows weaker. The sounds of battle fade further into the distance. Your body grows heavier, colder, and quieter. The city of Stalingrad continues fighting around you, but your war is finally over. Snow slowly covers the ground around your body. The wind moves through the broken ruins of the city, and the battlefield falls silent once again. Stalingrad, winter 1942. You were 22 years old, and like hundreds of thousands of others, you never went home.